Are you guys looking for something amazing to make with all your summer tomatoes? You're tired of eating them just plain right off the vine, sprinkled with salt? Well, here's a really good idea, and it's almost as simple as that. It's a tomato and ricotta tart. Combine 2 cups of coarsely torn breadcrumbs with a 1/4 cup of olive oil and some salt and pepper. That's your crust. It's an amazing start, don't you think? Stir it together. You could actually do this right in the pan that you're baking it, but I like the control I get by doing it in a bowl. And then put it into a 9-inch springform pan. Spread that evenly into the bottom and then just set it aside. Have your oven at 450. This doesn't need to blind bake or anything, just you want your oven preheating. This is 1 cup of fresh ricotta cheese. To that, add a 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan. Make sure it's the good stuff. Don't use the stuff that has like stabilizers and stuff like that in it. There are so few ingredients in this recipe, you really want all of them to be super high quality. Fresh ricotta, fresh mozzarella, you know what I'm saying. Then you want to add some basil, a couple tablespoons of fresh basil. I like to chop it right before I'm going to add it to my recipe so that it doesn't discolor. Oxidizes and gets all wet and kind of gross looking if you cut it ahead of time. So use a very sharp knife and chop it up right before you're going to use it. The smell of basil and tomatoes together doesn't make you think of summer. I don't know what does. Add that to the ricotta. And then to that, add 2 large eggs. So you just stir the eggs into the ricotta. That's going to allow it to set when it's in the oven. You could make a sweet version of this. I was thinking about it before. I think if you left all the savory ingredients out of the crust and added a little bit of sugar to that, then left all the savory ingredients out of the ricotta, you could top this with plums. Just add a little bit of sugar to the ricotta mixture instead of the basil. That's my big idea. I haven't tried it though. Pour the filling on top of the crust and spread it evenly. Why don't one of you guys go and make that sweet version and then send a picture of it to me? Sarah Carey 1 is my Instagram. You can tag me on it. Spread evenly into the pan. I'm loving this tart because you really pretty much don't have to do anything. Mix a couple ingredients together and then you have this delicious thing. Set that aside for a sec and then slice 1.5 pounds of fresh, delicious tomatoes really thinly. If you get heirloom tomatoes, fantastic. I highly recommend it. Whatever you get, try to make sure they're really, really good. Make the slices nice and thin. This way they'll be able to dry out in the oven as they cook without getting overly juicy. Okay. So then layer the tomatoes on top of the ricotta mixture. Season as you go. I like to season each layer. This makes probably about 2 layers of tomato, so season each layer. And then brush it with a little bit of olive oil to help the cooking. And to make it taste delicious, because olive oil is obviously so delicious, especially if you get a good quality. I always recommend getting 2 qualities of olive oil, one for cooking, just like a regular extra virgin or even just olive oil, and then a high quality extra virgin olive oil for making salads and stuff like that. Anything where it's not going to be cooked. That's when you want the really high quality. A little more salt and pepper. Brush with a little bit more oil. And then get it into the oven at 450 degrees. And what you want to look for is the tomatoes to get a little bit brown, dried out, and the custard will be set. It'll take 35 to 45 minutes. Okay. Curling, juicy and delicious looking. Still slightly warm. You can serve it warm, you can serve it room temperature. Actually, cut all the way through. The cheese makes the crust a little sticky because it oozes out, but that's what's so good about it. Nice. super duper excited to try this. Oh my gosh, so fantastic. And just a tiny bit more work than eating it straight out of the garden. Give it a try.